Welcome to Time Whispered, where we uncover the hidden truths of history, society, and the human condition. Picture this. It's 1962, the Academy Awards. Diana Sterling steps onto the red carpet, and 20,000 flashbulbs explode at once. Her skin? Flawless. Porcelain, not one wrinkle, not one pore visible. She's 49 years old, but looks 30. One reporter literally writes, "Diana Sterling isn't human. She's descended from heaven." He was more right than he knew, because what nobody saw was what happened at 5 a.m. that morning, in her mansion in Beverly Hills, behind locked doors. Her makeup artist, Margaret Chen, arrives with a silver case. Inside, jars of cream, white, thick, cold to the touch. The smell? Metallic, chemical, like a hospital mixed with a laboratory. Diana sits perfectly still, eyes closed, 3 hours. Every single morning, layer after layer after layer, building that mask, creating that perfection. And here's the part that'll blow your mind. That cream? It was made with mercury. Yeah, mercury. The same stuff that causes brain damage. The same poison that makes people go insane. But it worked. Oh my God, did it work? Within weeks of starting this routine, Diana's skin transformed. Smooth, luminous, ageless. And suddenly, after years of rejection, she started getting cast. Small roles became big roles. Big roles became stardom. By 1945, she's one of the biggest names in Hollywood. But here's the thing about mercury, and this is where it gets dark. It doesn't just sit on your skin. It absorbs, gets into your bloodstream, your organs, your brain. And once it's in there, it never leaves. Diana had been using this cream every single day for 25 years. Let me say that again. 25 years of daily mercury poisoning. Okay, pause. Because you're probably wondering, why would anyone do this? Let's rewind to 1913. Brooklyn, New York. Diana Sterling doesn't exist yet. Instead, there's a little girl named Dorothy Weinstein. Her dad's a tailor. Her mom cleans houses for rich people in Manhattan. And Dorothy? She's not pretty. I hate saying that, but it matters for this story. She's awkward, crooked teeth, frizzy hair. Kids call her Ugly Dot. But put her on a stage, magic happens. She transforms, becomes someone confident, someone powerful, someone worth watching. At 16, she sees a movie poster. The actress is stunning. Perfect face, perfect hair, perfect everything. And Dorothy decides, that's going to be me. She changes her name, moves to LA, sleeps in her car for 3 months while hitting every audition in town. And she doesn't book a single role, not one, for 2 entire years. Why? Because she doesn't fit Hollywood's beauty standard. Fair skin, delicate features, aristocratic face. Dorothy has none of it, so she finds Victor Romanoff. Operates out of a basement downtown. Word on the street is he can fix actresses with problem skin. Dorothy walks into that basement. Victor looks at her and says, "I can make you beautiful, but it will cost you." She thinks he means money. He doesn't. He shows her the cream, explains the miraculous results, doesn't mention the mercury, the lead, the arsenic. Dorothy uses it. Within weeks, her skin changes completely. And suddenly, she starts booking jobs. First small parts, then bigger ones. By 1940, she's a star named Diana Sterling. But now she can't stop using the cream, because if she does, her real skin shows through. Damaged, scarred, discolored from the chemicals, she's trapped. The thing that gave her success is slowly killing her, and she knows it. But stopping means losing everything, so she doesn't stop. Fast forward to the 1950s. Diana's at the absolute peak of her career, making massive money, living in a mansion, wearing diamonds the size of grapes. Behind closed doors, she's disintegrating. Her hands shake constantly. Mercury poisoning causes tremors. She has to hold her coffee cup with both hands. She forgets things, names of people she's known for years, conversations from yesterday. Her brain is literally being damaged by the poison. Stomach pain so bad she can barely eat. But she can't tell anyone, because weakness means losing roles. And here's the most heartbreaking part. She can't have real relationships. She's been married 4 times, all disasters. Why? Because she never let anyone see her without makeup. Not even her husbands. Her third husband, Richard Blackwood, tells a friend after their divorce, "I was married to Diana for 3 years. I never saw her real face, not once. She'd wake up before me, do her makeup in the dark, come back to bed. She showered with the lights off. If I tried to see her without makeup, she'd have a complete meltdown. That's not a marriage. That's a performance 24/7. And the saddest part? Diana desperately wanted children, but the mercury and lead destroyed her reproductive system. Multiple miscarriages. Doctors finally tell her it's impossible. So this woman, worshipped by millions as the ultimate symbol of beauty and femininity, is completely alone. Can't have intimacy, can't have kids, can't even look at herself in the mirror without the mask. And Hollywood? They don't care. Keep smiling, Diana. Keep looking perfect. Keep showing up. One of her co-stars later writes in a memoir, Diana would cry between takes, just silent tears ruining her makeup. We'd stop filming. Makeup artists would rush in, fix her face, and we'd keep going. Nobody ever asked if she was okay. The show must go on, even if it's killing you. By the 1970s, Diana's in her late 50s. In Hollywood terms, ancient. The roles disappear. Younger actresses take over. But the bigger problem? Her body is shutting down. The mercury has accumulated in her organs. Her kidneys are failing. Her liver's damaged. She has brain lesions causing hallucinations. She starts seeing things, shadows moving in empty rooms, hearing voices calling her name. One night, her housekeeper finds her screaming at a mirror, convinced her reflection is trying to kill her. Her doctors run tests. The mercury levels in her blood are literally off the charts, higher than the equipment can measure. They tell her, "Stop using the makeup immediately or you'll die." But here's where it gets truly tragic. Diana can't stop, because under the makeup, her face is destroyed. Decades of chemical exposure have left her skin mottled, scarred, discolored. She looks at herself without the mask and says, "I look like a monster." So she makes a decision. She'd rather die beautiful than live looking like her real self. Think about that for a second. This woman would literally rather die than show the world her real face. She becomes a total recluse, stops leaving her house, won't be photographed. When she does appear in public, maybe once a year, people are shocked by how perfect she still looks. What they don't know, It takes her 6 hours to prepare, and afterward, she collapses for days. In 1982, she does her last interview. The journalist, Sarah Mitchell, later describes it as one of the most disturbing experiences of my career. She says, "Diana looked absolutely flawless on camera, not a single imperfection. But when we stopped filming and I saw her up close, her skin wasn't skin. It was like a mask, thick, waxy, almost cracking, and her eyes were terrified, like she was trapped inside her own body." The studio bought that footage and buried it. By 1985, Diana's barely functioning, can't leave her bedroom, can barely eat because swallowing is agony. Her organs are systematically failing, but every single morning, she still applies the makeup, even though nobody sees her, even though she's dying. Her housekeeper, Maria, describes those final days. Miss Diana would sit at her vanity for hours, applying cream, powder, lipstick, over and over. Her hands shaking so bad she could barely hold the brush, sometimes crying the whole time. But she wouldn't stop, couldn't stop. It wasn't vanity anymore. It was an addiction, the only identity she had left. October 15th, 1985. Diana Sterling dies in her bedroom. Her housekeeper, Maria, finds her sitting in a chair by the window, fully dressed in an elegant gown, makeup perfectly applied. She looks like she's just resting, except she's been dead for at least 12 hours. Official cause of death? Heart failure, which is technically true. Her heart stopped. But that's not the real story. The real story starts when the funeral director arrives. His name is Thomas Crawford. He's expecting a routine pickup. What he finds changes him forever. Years later, he tells his son, and his son eventually shares this, what happened in that room. When we tried to move her body, her makeup started cracking, like old paint on a wall, pieces of it falling off in chunks. And underneath, he couldn't finish the sentence, just said, it wasn't right. Her face wasn't right. Within an hour, studio representatives arrive. They offered Thomas $50,000, equivalent to about $150,000 today, to do a closed casket funeral. No viewing. Nobody sees the body. They also pay off Maria, Margaret, the makeup artist, everyone who might have seen Diana in her final years. The funeral is beautiful. Hundreds of Hollywood stars attend. Everyone talks about how Diana will be remembered as one of the most beautiful women who ever lived. And she will be, because nobody will ever know what was underneath. Diana Sterling is buried in full makeup, closed casket. The mask becomes her grave. But here's what really haunts me about this story. Diana spent her entire adult life, 50 years, wearing that mask. And even in death, they wouldn't let her take it off. She was trapped in a performance that never ended, not even in the grave. Now, you might be thinking, okay, that's a tragic story from the past, but what does it have to do with me? Everything. Because this is happening right now. Think about Instagram filters, Facetune, Snapchat beauty modes, people getting cosmetic procedures in their 20s because they're terrified of looking their age. We're all wearing digital masks now. And just like Diana, we're teaching ourselves that our real faces aren't good enough. I see it everywhere. Teenage girls who won't post a photo without filters. Women getting so much Botox, their faces can't move. Men using steroids and growth hormones, chasing impossible body standards. And I think about Diana Sterling, sitting at that vanity with trembling hands, applying poison to her face because the alternative, being seen as she really was, felt worse than death. The pursuit of perfection is a trap. It's a lie sold by industries that profit from your insecurity. Diana was beautiful before the makeup. She was talented, charismatic, brilliant, but Hollywood told her she wasn't enough. So she transformed herself into something acceptable, and it killed her. You know the saddest part? I found photos of young Dorothy Weinstein before she became Diana Sterling, and she's genuinely lovely, unique, interesting, real. But real didn't fit the standard, so she destroyed herself trying to become perfect. And for what? So millions of strangers could admire a face that wasn't even hers? I think about what her life could have been. Real relationships, children, living to 90 surrounded by people who loved her, not the mask. Instead, she died alone at 72, trapped in a performance she could never escape. Look, I'm not saying don't care about appearance. Wear makeup if it makes you happy. Style your hair. Dress well. But don't lose yourself chasing an impossible standard. Don't poison yourself, literally or metaphorically, trying to be perfect. Because perfect doesn't exist. It's an illusion, a product being sold to you. And the people selling it? They don't care if it destroys you. Diana Sterling's real tragedy wasn't that she died from mercury poisoning. It was that she spent 50 years believing her real face wasn't worth showing the world. Maria, Diana's housekeeper for over 20 years, kept one thing after Diana died. Something the studio desperately wanted destroyed. A single jar of that mercury cream. She still has it today, hidden in her attic. On the label, written in faded handwriting, beauty formula used daily for perfect skin, perfect life, perfect death. All built on poison and lies. The real Diana Sterling died in Brooklyn in 1931, the exact moment when young Dorothy Weinstein looked in a mirror and decided she wasn't good enough as she was. Everything after that, just a ghost wearing makeup. Listen, I want you to remember this the next time you reach for a filter, the next time you compare yourself to someone online, the next time you think you're not enough. Those people you're comparing yourself to, you're seeing their mask, not their reality. And your reality, your real face, your real self, that's actually beautiful. Don't poison it trying to become somebody else's carefully curated illusion. Diana Sterling's story isn't a cautionary tale from the past. It's a warning about right now. Don't let it become your story. If this video made you think differently about beauty standards and social media, do me a favor. Hit that like button and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Drop a comment below telling me what you think. Have you ever felt pressure to look perfect? Let's talk about it. And if you want more stories about the dark side of Hollywood that they don't want you to know, subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications. I've got more coming that'll blow your mind. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.